What's going on, Colts Nation? And welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Your guys, Cody and Derek. We are back for another one, guys. And we want to talk about Shane Steichen a little bit in this episode. We want to kind of look at Steichen now that he's officially hired. With that being said, we want to today talk about what should be some of the main focuses for Shane Steichen this year as the Indianapolis Colts head coach. So I think with the first one, with that, we can talk about Derek. We already touched on it a little bit, but Derek, it has to be getting that rookie quarterback, finding your guy, sitting in meetings, talking with Ballard, talking with the scouts, talking with your coaches, and figuring out which guy is our guy, right? And what do we need to do, whether it's staying at 4, whether it's trading up, what do we need to do to go get that guy at all costs? They need to identify their guy, and then they need to go get him.
Yeah, I mean, that has to be his after he gets this coaching staff down. I mean, that has to be the main focus going forward. What kind of scheme are you wanting to run that would be best suited for this quarterback, right? I mean, that's what we heard from Shane Steichen is it's not about finding a player that's going to fit your scheme. It's what scheme is going to best fit your quarterback. And the best way to know that is which one are we going to get? And Shane Steichen has to give that input. He has to have a one-on-one with Ballard, which I'm sure they probably have already talked about, Cody. They probably have already mentioned it to each other. You know, what is it that you want to do? Like if we hired you and we're looking for a quarterback, which quarterback do you want to have that you best think you can run an offense around? I'm sure he's probably already given a few tidbits there with Ballard, but of course, you know, he's going to have the combine and a bunch of pro days and a bunch of other things to still look at. So, but that is one of the most important things. That's one of his main focuses. Needs to be which quarterback does he feel is going to be able to put the most success going forward with this organization. And that's going to ultimately determine what kind of scheme this team's going to end up running, because you're not going to run the same scheme with Bryce Young and Anthony Richardson as you are with CJ Stroud and a Will Levis. You're going to run things differently. And we made a video about it, Cody, this last week, saying that we felt comfortable with whatever scheme. I made the video saying whatever scheme Steichen decides to run, I feel comfortable with. Because we've seen the Chargers and the Eagles run two completely different styles of offense, but yet both have been really efficient. So it just depends on which one that he wants.
Right. And I was going to say, like, this is the first time that he's really had a choice, right? In the type of quarterback that he wants. He can get any kind. He's worked with both kinds, right? He's worked with the more pocket passers, Phillip Rivers, Justin Herbert. He's worked with the mobile quarterback the last 2 years at Jalen Hurts. So he's seen a little bit of everything. And there's like 4 quarterbacks that a lot of Colts fans have talked about as potential guys that you're like, okay, like the Colts could realistically get any of these guys. So like which one, if he had to choose, is kind of his comfortability, you know? Like I know he's going to build the scheme around them, but which one do you look at and does he look at and say, this is the type of guy I'd rather have for these reasons? That's the only one that knows that is Shane Steichen. And that's just going to be the thing. He's going to build that scheme around that quarterback. The good thing is he's had a track record of having success with either guy. So which one's going to be the guy? What are the traits that he looks at? He's talked about them a little bit in his presser, but like this is the first time he gets the opportunity to say, these are the traits that put these guys or this guy over these guys. So I'm just intrigued to see what that process looks like. What, do they decide like, okay, we got to go get a Bryce Young or a CJ Stroud, and that's going to require us to get rid of some draft capital. But you know what? It's worth it. It's worth it. So I don't know. I don't know what the deal is going to be there, but nonetheless, they got to get the quarterback right, and Steichen is going to be the guy that really leads the charge in that way. So, yeah, I think that does it for our main focus here for Shane Steichen. You look at some of the Colts free agents that are going to come up, the guys that they have the option to bring back or not, and then you look at some free agents that are going to hit the market, right? And I'm probably going to make another podcast video about this. Like, okay, who are going to be some of the guys that the Colts are going to target and are going to look to get? Are they going to go after kind of a splash signing? Or are they going to kind of try to get a few role players to work alongside the rookie quarterback? They just got to figure it out, right? Who are going to be some of the players that they feel like, maybe from the Chargers, maybe from the Eagles, like, or maybe other guys that they look at and they're like, we need these guys. They fit our system really well. We need to bring these guys in. I don't know. I don't know who that's going to be necessarily, but that's definitely something they got to figure out. If the coaching staff's important and the quarterback's important, this is probably the third thing then.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it. There's quite a few. I think we did the re-sign and re-walk or walk videos earlier this last month of us, kind of talking about which of these guys do we need to bring back and which of these guys are we going to end up letting walk. I mean, maybe Shane Steichen feels that there's one or two of these guys that, can really thrive in this type of scheme that he may be thinking of, depending on, how it goes. I mean, unfortunately, certain guys may end up leaving due to the fact that, Steichen may not 100% know what he's going to do because, we don't know what kind of quarterback yet that the Indianapolis Colts are going to get. And that's obviously going to make it a little difficult when we're talking about who they can bring in from the outside. So that'll make it a little bit more difficult, but yeah, absolutely. I mean, thinking about it, who do you want to keep? Who do you want to let go? That's not always a head coach thing, but it is a thing where, he does have input on that. So, I mean, of course, maybe I wonder if that's one of those things that he and Ballard mentioned was, one of the things that they might have disagreed on. I wonder if that's one of those situations. But yeah, it'll be very interesting to see who the Colts bring back, especially if they bring anyone back on the offensive side of the ball, because, Paris Campbell's still out there. And if Paris Campbell doesn't get re-signed, I'm going to be very unhappy.
Yeah. Well, then also, I forgot to mention as well, like Gus Bradley, if he does come back, who are some players that maybe he wants to target? And maybe the Colts do take more of the defensive approach in free agency because they already kind of know they have their staff in place, right? Maybe they decide to do that. Maybe they add a few offensive players. I don't know. And maybe at that point, the Colts have already, maybe traded up. It'd be like, this is going to be our guy. All right, we can start building a system around him. We know this guy. And then we can, start getting some offensive players too. But, I think once we figure out if Gus Bradley's coming back, which I would think, yes, from all that I've heard, you can add some players in free agency on that side of the ball as well. But I think, Derek, those are kind of the main focuses for Shane Steichen this offseason. Now, obviously, there's some other main focuses as the Colts get more in season that Steichen's going to have to focus on, things like accountability, starting strong, some of those pillars that he talked about, they got to actually put them into action, right? I mean, we've heard a lot of talk from Frank Reich and this guy and this, previous coaching staff, and they reached some of them, they didn't reach some of them. So, you got to figure that out. Like, how do we get our team in the best position to get our players, to their best of their ability? How do we have our team come out prepared? And the Colts with a rookie quarterback, who knows, where they're going to be. They could be picking top 10 again. They could be a fringe playoff team. You just don't know with them. But those are the things we think, guys, Shane Steichen, new Indianapolis Colts head coach, needs to focus on. Those need to be his main things he focuses on. I think, Derek, we got to talk about, quarterback, and then obviously the other players that you need to either bring back or bring in to the building. I would say probably quarterback's number one, obviously, because we all know how important quarterback is, the free agents and stuff of that nature. But I think unless you have anything else, Derek, I think I'm good to go on this episode. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Really appreciate all the support. You guys are amazing. And guys, we got you covered on all the content around the Colts. And now we can start talking about other things than the head coach and who that might be now that we have more of a clear picture, and we can start talking about, potential guys to re-sign, talk about all these different things, and obviously talk about the quarterback as well. Derek, I know you and Landon are going to be doing a mini series here looking at all these different quarterbacks for the Colts. I am very excited personally to watch those and have those come out because I think hopefully for a lot of people, it's going to be a really awesome mini series. You want to talk about that real fast before we wrap it up here?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of a mini series with Landon Oliver, who is over at the Blue Stable. Been connecting with him a lot over the last month. He's really been helpful with a lot of our content and has really been out there doing great work. If you follow him on Twitter, if you don't, I highly suggest you do so. Puts out a ton of different film on all these different guys that, especially the quarterbacks, that things that they do well, things they don't do well. And we're basically just going to take that. We're just going to kind of put it into a mini series here on this channel. I think that'd be a great way for us to kind of break down some film on all these different quarterbacks, kind of talk about what their tendencies are, what's good about them, what's bad about them, what they need to improve at the next level. And hopefully this will be a video, it's a little bit of a mini series that you guys enjoy. And if you like the conversations that Landon and I will have, maybe we can extend it to other things and maybe even to players of our own that we already have. But, we're going to talk about 5 different quarterbacks: Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, and Hendon Hooker. So we're going to mention these 5 quarterbacks. Hopefully you guys will enjoy this. I don't know when this video is going to actually come out specifically, but if it comes out before or after, doesn't matter. I hope you guys will be enjoying it. So yeah, that's going to be the mini series that we have coming up.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome, guys. We've never really done a mini series like this because we haven't really had to talk about these rookie quarterbacks that are going to, go in the top couple picks here. So really excited for that. And guys, hopefully you will tune in for that. I'm hoping those videos just do super well, man. I'm hoping that all Colts fans who watch this channel, and even non-Colts fans, even just NFL draft fans, will tune into that because you guys have great insight over there, and I'm really excited to kind of see how that works. But guys, that'll do it here for our episode of Bring the Juice, talking about Shane Steichen, his main focuses for this offseason. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Really appreciate all your support. And as always, guys, go Colts.